In this video, I want to tell you about how to be a sensible prepper during an economic collapse. If the shit hits the fan, what are you gonna do? He's worried about what's gonna happen if we have an economic collapse. What happens if we're in a bubble now and that bubble bursts? What can we do? A lot of people are prepared with knives and guns and fucking ammo for a governmental collapse or something like that. But what if we have just an economic collapse where the job market becomes bad, or we print up too much money and the dollar value starts to decline? What are you going to do for that? And should you be worried about that? So I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, how to get the physique you want, how to get the girls that you want, and how to go from the victim mindset to what I call the bulldog mindset. If that sounds like something you are interested in, click that subscribe button and join us on this quest. Hi, John. I used to watch a lot of preppers who focused on food, water, self-defense, and sustainability in a crisis. But what about the loss of income? I think the prepper movement pays too little attention to sustaining income in a crisis. I think if you have a crisis, I'm not sure if they're counting on there being jobs. From the standpoint, you have out-prepped the preppers, and the people in this group are working towards becoming economic preppers. That's like Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many peppers did Peter Piper pick? You have some money in the bank. Like, where's your money, John? Okay, so where's my money? Oh, well, my money is, or where's my value? Okay, my value right now is there's some money in the bank. Okay, there's some money in real estate. I own a bunch of real estate, and I own that outright. And then I've got some assets, obviously. I've got the business, right? And, all the things, the YouTube channel, all that kind of stuff, all right? So if we have a problem where, let's say the U.S. economy tanks, let's say that a dollar isn't worth a dollar anymore. Say there's hyperinflation, right? And the U.S. prints money like crazy, or something happens and the dollar is no longer as valuable as what it is. I could lose all that money in the bank, okay? I probably won't make so much money off of YouTube or the businesses, right? I could, even the properties, right? The properties, honestly, right? If things go to crazy shit, I have to defend those properties with a gun, all right? Like, people can just come in and take over the property. If you don't have the government, or you don't have some militia, basically if you don't have the legal enforcement of a justice system and police and all of those things that we enjoy, then people can take your shit by force. In general, we're economic preppers, and that I'm an economic prepper. That no matter what happens economically, as long as the government doesn't collapse, as long as the world doesn't collapse, right, that I'm okay for the most part. I'm protected against most things because I don't rely on a job. I have my own income. I have a diversified income sources. I've got real estate income. I've got residual income that comes in from books, from royalties. I've got money in the bank. Anyway, I've got a diversified portfolio of income, so I don't have to worry about that. I think I remember someone from an early Ruby Rogues podcast saying that the 2008 housing crisis was caused by the government because it was the only institution capable of collapsing the housing market. I'm seeing quantitative easing, i.e. printing money out of thin air, and European governments buying stocks, resulting in the longest bull market in history. This looks more like market manipulation that could result in a huge collapse and recession. If you look at the dollar, it doesn't represent anything. So we used to have a gold standard, right? So it used to be backed by gold. So the dollar used to be a representation, so you didn't have to carry around all this gold. And it was tied to the price of gold. But now it's called a fiat currency. So what it means is that it's essentially an IOU from the government that is backing it, that represents an arbitrary value that sort of people have agreed upon. A lot of it is determined by supply and demand, and as you have a population increase and as you have more money in the system and more things develop over time, you sort of have to have inflation. It's important. It's sort of a pressure relief. Otherwise, there won't be enough money to go around, right? If there's more people and more money, but you got to have more money on the board, but you have to do that at the right rate. Just because something's going up doesn't mean that it's going to crash anytime soon. It could go up for the next 50 years, and then people say, wow, this is the longest, most ridiculous bull market that's ever existed in time, right? Whatever happens, people will either say, well, duh, that of course it was going to crash, or they're going to say, oh wow, now it's of course going to crash, right? So whatever happens, people will always be predicting it. So what's the safest thing to do in this situation? Is it's to assume that something bad will happen eventually. Eventually the markets will crash. Eventually something will happen, but you shouldn't be predicting it. Instead, you should be protecting against it. If something bad happens, what situation will I be in, right? That's the question you should be asking. A lot of debt is tied to an index of some sort, which is smart, right? When you buy a 30-year fixed mortgage, that's actually a really good product to buy when you do that, because it's not tied to anything. As inflation happens, you actually owe less on your loan, and it doesn't adjust, right? Adjustable rate mortgages, they go with the inflation, and they actually end up not being a hedge against inflation. I'm not a prepper, okay? I know a lot of you might be preppers watching this video. That's fine, okay? I get it. I'm taking a gamble, a different gamble than you. If you're prepping, all right, you're taking the bet, you're taking the position that it's better to spend some of your resources and time now, because if this fairly unlikely scenario, in the event of that 10% chance happening, you're going to be the fucking king, right? You're going to be the guy with all the guns and all the water and all the food, and you're going to, you're going to have like 7 wives, and you're going to be riding around on your fucking riding lawnmower, like fucking shooting people. I'll be like, with all my money, right, in the bank and my real estate, I'll be running over to your house and be like, please sir, will you give me protection? I have no guns. My bet is this: I am giving the chance of an economic collapse, of a total like anarchy type of situation where prepping would be important, or some kind of ridiculous natural disaster where you would be without food or water for more than like a month. I'm giving, because I know I can just fast for a week. I'm basically putting the chance of having some really like crazy, the road, Walking Dead kind of shit happening at less than a 1% chance. So I don't want to spend any resources right now preparing for that. Now, if I build up enough assets where it's so easy for me to do it and the risk is so great, then of course I would prep, because it wouldn't cost me much, right? I could just pay someone to prep for me, and to be a prepper, and to set up a cabin wherever and just give me the coordinates and have it all set up for me, and it doesn't take my time, right? Instead, I'm devoting all my resources to living in the non-zombie apocalypse world and maximizing there. So if there's a zombie apocalypse, I agree, I'm fucked. I will be fucked.
Feels good.
All the money in the bank, all my internet marketing fucking knowledge, the ability to make YouTube videos, none of that shit will matter. The only thing that might fucking matter is that maybe some fucking dudes that are serious preppers with guns, except after they watch this video I made fun of them, that won't be the case. They'll be like, dude, I love your YouTube videos. Why don't you come into our fucking fort and we'll protect you, because you're the fucking bulldog mindset guy. Dude, guys, we got the bulldog mindset guy here. Let's make him the king. With that said, let's talk about recession and sort of the economic prepping. The biggest thing here, and what I've done, is a couple of things, right? This is the real meat of the video, by the way, if you've skipped ahead here. Okay, is this. First of all, have diversified income. What do I mean by that? I mean have income from a lot of different sources, so that if one thing goes bad, I'm not going to lose everything. Let's say that there's an economic housing collapse. I still have all this other income coming in from business, from all the other stuff, right? Let's say that my business is shut down. Let's say that someone, I don't know, let's say that I get busted for hacking and I'm not allowed to touch a computer again. I'll still have real estate income coming in. I'll still have book royalties coming in. I'll still have residual income coming in from Pluralsight courses that I did from way back. Even if you work a regular job, when I was starting out, when I was working a regular job, I had a side business. I had multiple side businesses. I had multiple income sources. I had some apps over here. I had a book I published here. Okay, I had a little simple programmer business that was growing. That still diversified me, and I still had my real estate income coming in. So you need to be looking at building up income in all of these different areas, or having multiple different areas of income. If you're just relying on your job, okay, then you're a slave to your boss. Okay, you gotta make compromise in your life. You gotta wake up every morning and go to work, and you gotta kiss some ass. And if you have to do some things that you don't want to do, you gotta do them, because what are you gonna do? You gotta pay the mortgage, you gotta pay the rent, you gotta live, you gotta eat. But if you have a diversified set of income sources, then it doesn't really matter what happens, okay? Because you know that there's not one thing that can destroy you. Now, the zombie apocalypse, it will fuck you. The second thing that I've got going on, besides income stream diversity is skill diversity and a base set of skills. Let's say that both of my businesses were shut down. I can get on video and I can make videos. I can start a new YouTube channel tomorrow. I've got the skill set for that. I could go speak on stage. I could go open up a new business doing coaching. I could write code as a software developer. I could write copy as an email marketer or start an internet business, having the skills and knowing how to create a business, how to sell something, how to make a product. That's sort of the best way that you can prepare yourself. So this was something I was talking to Dan Locke. He talked about high income skills. It's not bullshit. I wasn't just trying to sell some shit to you guys. It's true. High income skills, it's better than a high income job. Let's say that you are a software developer, okay, and you have some skill set and you've got a really good job, okay, but you've got a blog, all right, and you've got maybe a YouTube channel, you've built up a presence, or maybe you've created a podcast, or you've built a name for yourself, you've published some books. Okay, if you're well known, then even if you lose your job, even if the economy is bad, you're still going to be able to get a job the next day. It's going to be super easy because you have an audience, you have people that follow you, you've got connections, right? You have a reputation. What else can you do? How else can you prepare, right? Well, one of the major things is to have a bunch of cash. You should have assets. If you have some real estate, if you've got some cash, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, then you're going to be most hurt by any kind of economic shift. If you lose your job, if you don't get paid for a week, you're going to get in what I call a squeeze situation. You should always have a buffer. The more extended you are, the worse that things are going to be. Yeah, times are great now. I've got a lot of money right now, but I'm always preparing for winter to be fucking coming because I'm always expecting that some shit is going to happen, all right? And I'm prepared for that. I'm not going to live at my means or above my means, especially not above my means. I'm going to live below my means because then if something happens, and let's say that right now, just as things are, my income got axed in half, okay? I'd be fine. It wouldn't affect me one bit in my daily lifestyle. If you're able to reduce, okay, so that you're not living close to your maximum, then if the maximum gets reduced, you're gonna be okay. That's it. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.